You're never going to believe this. Chris is having trouble with technology right now. So it's 9:26 in the central time zone where we all live here, that the folks of us that do this show called USfanTV. We're 26 minutes past when we normally do the show on Tuesday nights, and we don't have Chris. But I am Pat, and he is TJ.
Hey, how's everything going? I can see you're still wearing your Milwaukee Torrent hat. I don't care if you say it's a Timbers hat. It still looks like a Torrent hat.
Whatever you want it to be.
Well, which there's news on that today too, so we can get to that later. But I'm guessing there.
Things are going on. We're in the midst of the MLS playoffs. Christian Pulisic has had a interesting kind of up and down week in Germany for Borussia Dortmund. It is election day in the US, and there's two different referenda that matter to soccer fans. One in Miami, which has passed. The Golden Balls referendum has passed, so he can build his shopping mall giant hotel that happens to have a soccer stadium attached to it. And there's the San Diego thing where they have to vote yes on E and no on G for Landon to get his stadium and have it be an MLS stadium and not a college stadium. So that's going on. We don't know how that's doing because obviously California is on the other end of the country, but the Beckham thing is passed. But we should probably, TJ, while we wait for Chris to figure out technology, we should probably talk about the roster because it's out.
We can do that. And no, Christian, unlike Pat, Chris is not holding out for more money. Chris is still on technology of like the Commodore 64, and the 21st Century just owns him on technology. So that's where we're at with that. But yeah, they had a roster come out, didn't they?
They did.
We should probably talk about that.
The way I saw it framed was Pulisic in, Bradley dropped. I've seen that used a few times, and I don't really know that Bradley has been dropped. He kind of just was barely there to begin with, but whatever reason. Yeah, it's the first time, assuming nobody gets hurt, and the game's not for 9 days, so it's very possible somebody could get hurt. It's the first time since that Philadelphia friendly that we're going to see Pulisic, McKinney, Adams, all these dudes, Tim Weah, all these dudes play together. So that's exciting. And in theory, our guy Chris is supposed to be there at Wembley Stadium next week. But a lot can happen. And we are, let's see, he's checking in right now. He wants to break things right now, he's saying.
When does that not happen with him and getting angry? So
I'm telling him we're on so he can watch. His phone doesn't have enough charge, so he can't use his phone to do the show, and the iPad isn't working.
Well, we know it's eBay's fault, so
don't. You can't go down that road. So yeah,
what you say that like let's wait. Before we move into this, you're talking about Chris actually going into Illinois. I don't think anybody from Wisconsin truly does that willingly. So even at his maddest, I'm pretty sure he get close to Kenosha and go, nah, let's just go. We'll go to Mars Cheese Castle and go home.
Wait, why is he going into Illinois?
Well, if he's going to come and pummel us for making.
Oh, that's okay. I gotcha. I get it now.
There's an aversion to Illinois that Cheesehead seemed to have. So, and I'm guessing that would hit him unless it's a necessity, such as a fire game, a U.S. national team game, or something along those lines.
I don't want to go into all the details, but he's like it's like Michael Douglas falling down with him right now. It's with all the different things that are happening to him lately.
That's an apt description. It truly is.
All right, so the roster, shall we?
We can.
Goalkeepers: Brad Guzan, Ethan Horvath, Zach Steffen.
Goalkeeper of the year, MLS.
Yeah, I assume he starts right in what you would expect against England.
Yeah, I think Horvath might get a look before Guzan, and I could see Guzan falling off if Atlanta stays in the playoffs. But I'm not sure if Steffen drops off though.
Good point. Defenders: John Brooks, Reggie Cannon, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Aaron Long, Matt Miazga, Shaq Moore, Anthony Robinson, Jorge Villafana, DeAndre Yedlin, and Walker Zimmerman.
No surprises. Really, no surprises. None. I'm comfortable. I'm good with it.
Midfielders, and there are a lot of them because there aren't very many forwards. They're calling most of these dudes midfielders. Kellen Acosta, Tyler Adams, Luca De La Torre, Marky Delgado, Roman Gall, Julian Green, Sebastian Lletget, the boy, Weston McKennie, Darlington Nagbe, Christian Pulisic, Kenny Saif, Will Trapp, and Tim Weah. I think Tim Weah is more of a forward, but whatever. If he's starting wide, you could call him a midfielder. And then your forwards are Josh Sargent and Bobby Wood, and that's it. So
Lletget, nice. Was he in the last? Was he in the last cycle?
I don't think so. But I'm second guessing myself. I'm glad he's there though. Yeah. That is the bigger point. Because he's a guy before his bad injury was really showing some stuff. So I'm glad he's back. And I hope he gets to play quite a bit because he's a guy you don't necessarily think of when you're thinking of this young crop of players. But he's a guy who you could, definitely say could make a case to be in it. So,
well, and let's face it, before he got hurt, you start to wonder if 2018, but if he doesn't blow his knee out or whatever, ankle, whatever it was. I mean, without that leg injury, he was effective. You wonder how I know it's revisionist history, injuries happen, but at the same time, it may have solved a few problems. So, all right, what do we got? What are we looking at here?
They're making fun of Chris. Anonymity asked if he's having his beard dyed right now.
That's possible. No Ben. Nope, no Ben Sweat. No Ben Fast either.
Not there.
No.
Not there. Not there at all. Yeah, so I think this is about as this is our group right now. This is what we've got. I can't think of anybody unless we're considering a Josie or a Bradley or somebody like that. I can't think of anybody who feels majorly left off of this roster. So I'm excited to see what they can do. My fear is though that with 9 days to go, just like the last cycle, we had a good looking roster and then they started falling one by one. So
and that's the one thing I wonder about is with the guys that are still in the MLS playoffs, will they make that trip over? Or I haven't checked. Are they going on hiatus for this round of friendlies?
Is what now? I was reading the comments.
Is MLS going on hiatus for the? I haven't looked, but even still, would you want to send a guy over?
I don't know. I don't know where they go beyond this weekend, but
would you want them to go over and have them like Zach Steffen or Nagbe or something? If assuming they both make, would you want them to go over and get hurt?
If you're the MLS club, you sure don't. If you're US Soccer, you may want to see him, especially with two higher profile friendlies. But by the way, the Italy game is in Belgium. I didn't know this until today when I looked. I just assumed it was in Italy that whole time. And I looked, no, it's in Belgium. So at least that cuts down on travel, I guess, a little bit.
Really? Not much.
Not much, but a little bit, I guess.
That's like saying the trip to St. Louis instead of the trip to Memphis or something. You're really not talking much difference in that sense.
And some guys are talking, there's still no coach. Yeah, because he's still live in the MLS playoffs. It's become more clear that it's going to be, I mean, if you didn't know already, it's going to be Greg Berhalter just because that's what it's going to be, because they didn't interview anybody else. And, with the Crew staying alive in that penalty shootout against DC, we got to wait a while longer to get our Greg Berhalter installed. So he won't be there for this round. I guess that's puts him there for Camp Cupcake for sure. And if it's not Greg Berhalter at this point, if the Crew get bounced and it's not suddenly him, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's possible. It's possible. So
it's US Soccer. Anything's possible. I guess the word meticulous would be the understatement when you're looking at what they're actually doing. But Again, I know everybody at Twitter loses its damn mind on everything isn't at the time table they want or they expect. I'm still not concerned. It'll be what it is. You can get as angry as you want about it, or you can look at it and say, when they have their coach, they'll announce it. Again, like you said, if it's Berhalter, who cares? These games still don't matter. We still have 6 months of games.
Yeah, we're at the result doesn't matter, but we are at the point where I think you want to start seeing some things. So it would be nice to have our coach there so we could be running whatever system our coach wants us to run, whoever our coach may be, and we can start looking towards something. But right now, again, all we really get to do is look at individual performances, look at the way certain guys combine, who plays hard, who plays well.
And if it's Berhalter, you don't think he has zero input on what's going on right now? You don't think there are a few emails exchanged with Dave Sarakin and Ernie Stewart of, hey, these are the things I'd like to look at when I look at the tape later? Don't kid yourself. You know that stuff. If that's the case, you know that stuff is going on behind the scenes. Just like, hey, what kind of things do you want us to look at? And Sarakin is looking at it accordingly. I'm guessing Berhalter didn't need to see Michael Bradley again. I'm guessing he does want to see, if it's Berhalter, he does want to see how Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic actually perform.
And that's probably what's happening here. By the way, Steve Cherundolo is, they've been calling in, and I think this is actually kind of a cool idea, and a different assistant every time. The mayor of Hanover gets a call to be the U.S. assistant for this round. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. And Josh Wolf was the previous cycle. So
yes.
Hey, good for them. And if they can find someone who can fill a Tab Ramos type role within U.S. soccer, bonus. I mean, get them exposed to it and see what kind of things they can do with it, I guess.
And again, anonymity. Belgium is closer to London than Italy. Even if you play in the north of Italy, it's still closer. If you play in Rome, it's quite a bit closer. So it cuts down on travel a little bit. It was more a joke than anything. But sure, nitpick me there, buddy.
Because isn't Europe like basically the size of like California and Nevada?
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, it's small.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're basically talking about going from like the Bay Area, instead of going to Reno, going to Vegas or something, like, it's irrelevant. So
yeah, there's a roster for the 11-15 match. It's Thursday against England. Chris, like we said, is supposed to be there, but one of the many things that went wrong with him today, besides his iPad not working where he couldn't be on this show, is that he still doesn't have the tickets for the match, and he's leaving, I think, Saturday. So he would obviously like to have that sorted before he goes, but it's just Chris, so he doesn't have the tickets that he has purchased for the U.S. section for that match, and nobody at U.S. Soccer will get back to him, he says. So he's not happy.
There's an eBay joke to be had there, but I think I'll let that one. Actually, you know what? It's because he got pissed at eBay. eBay is now smiting him and screwing him with U.S. Soccer, or U.S. Soccer's just screwing him over because they looked and saw the name Chris and said, you know what? We're just going to screw him over because it has to happen.
This guy again.
We're watching this like 6 weeks from now. This is exactly what happened. You got mad at somebody, and then U.S. Soccer just decided to smite you.
He did threaten to smash his iPad tonight. And I have told you on this show before that he was notorious for smashing video game controllers for a long time. Just like $50 a pop. He would smash it and then go buy another one. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that he smashed his iPad tonight because he couldn't get it to work to connect to the show.
Funny, I have a Lenovo, nothing high tech or anything like that. $200, and yet it works just fine. Just saying. And I mean, once you get your color right and you actually have a Timbers hat instead of a Torrent hat, we can discuss that later too.
Yeah, I did buy a little light. It's hopefully a little better. Because I don't feel like I have the whole, when I do the show back there in that room behind me, I have the scarves and I have the whole like 3-point light kit that I set up. But the 3-point light kit setup is kind of a pain in the ass. It discourages me from doing the show. So I have this little $10 light I bought on Amazon, like little push button, and see, hopefully it's better than nothing. Christian Pulisic's had an interesting week. The last show, if you'll recall, TJ, when you were in the Army now,
in
the Army then, the we were kind of wondering, we were fielding questions. Has Pulisic peaked? Is this as good as it gets? And even I saw in the chat today some the people love to compare him to El Chuki. And again, if El Chuki isn't playing in the Netherlands, I would be happy to. I like the guy. He was great in the World Cup, but he's in the Netherlands. It's hard to compare stats with somebody. The Netherlands is like an NBA All-Star game for scoring compared to other leagues. So Pulisic on his own, right after we were wondering if he was still
viable.
Yeah. He had a fantastic game against Union in the Pokal. He had a goal, an assist, and a drawn penalty. So,
but then again, I mean, and I get it, Union is one of the better teams in the second Bundesliga, but it's still a lower division team. You should be able to do that against a lower division team.
And that's going to be the argument, because they had this run of 3 games. So against Wolfsburg, he didn't start over the weekend. He came on for the last 20 or so minutes. And sometimes when you come on for the last 20 or so minutes, you just don't have enough time to make anything happen. And he didn't. So whatever, we'll chalk that up to, him not having enough time. And I don't think it's a crazy thing that he was on the bench, because with that many games, you want to see some squad rotation, I would think. Today, though, he didn't look particularly overwhelming. And granted,
but to be fair, it's Atletico Madrid.
It's the best defensive team in the world.
One of the best in the world. I'd say, definitely.
Yeah.
If not number 1, I'd say top 3 in the world defensively.
So if you're going to have some defenders throw you in their pocket, as happened today, it's probably not surprising that it happened against Atletico. So I don't know that this is all that much to worry about, but you do expect when your guys in the Champions League, if you're going to hype them like this, you want them to come through. This weekend is Der Klassiker against Bayern Saturday. Bayern is struggling by Bayern standards. There are Thomas Muller wife Instagram problems. There's all sorts of drama going on there, and they're like in 3rd on goal differential, in 2nd on points. But that's Bayern. If they're not in 1st, they get pissed. So they're playing Bayern, and if this is struggling for Bayern, and I think this is, hopefully our guy gets the start, and hopefully he can capitalize and do some things against the biggest team in Germany. But we'll see. So what do you expect? Is he still, are we still wanting too much from a 20-year-old person?
Yes. Okay. You just hit the nail on the head for what I was going to point out. He's 20 years old. Yeah, every once in a while you'll get somebody at 20 that's just amazing, and they stay amazing. If you want to, by cross sports analogy, Crosby, LeBron James, those are once in generational type players. Though Christian Pulisic is a phenomenal player for United States soccer. Is Christian Pulisic a once in a generational talent though? No, he's not. He's not Leo Messi. He's not Ronaldo. He's not of that caliber. Where at 20 you expect Mike Trout. He's not there. He's going to have some growing pains yet. Does that mean he's not going to be is he going to end up not being one of the best in U.S. soccer of all time? No, he's going to do that. Barring injury, he'll do that. But 20 years old. Think about, I get it. It's a long time ago when, 20 plus years ago for us. But at the same time, were we always at our best every time out on it when we were 20 years old? No. And it's impossible to expect them to be. I think this week kind of was what you get with Christian Pulisic in a microcosm. You get some really good times, you get some non-existent times, and then you get some really bad ones. It's just, and again, good teams like that can play defense like Atletico Madrid are going to take him, and now it's his turn to adjust his game to that next level to work around some of the teams that are like that, or else they're going to keep bottling him up.
He's never terrible, though. He does kind of disappear at times against tougher teams, but a lot of players do. But he's generally never terrible. So, and his upside is incredible.
And I see somebody, talking about Chicharito. Mexican fans still think Chicharito is their striker. Chicharito, to me, almost, it just crossed me. I don't think that's a bad comparison. Somebody with a great talent, very, very good, might be one of the better ones ever, but I don't think will ever live up to the hype or level that people thought, just because of how good he was so young to make it too. I think there are way too many people that expect Pulisic to be of the level of maybe not Messi and Ronaldo, but not far behind them, and he's not going to get there.
There are certain stats that people were pointing to early on that kind of showed that he was on that track. Goals scored by a certain age and that sort of thing. He was right there, and it was like, if you look at just with the eye test, if you look at a dude like Mbappe versus a dude like Pulisic, Mbappe's dramatically better. That's not to say that Pulisic can't be our best player ever, right?
You know what? And I see anonymity also using Dembele. Pulisic performing like Dembele. Some moments of brilliance and others that you're like, what the heck? And that might another apt description of it. So, and again, what new manager you're going to still, the system isn't going to be perfect 2 months in or 3 months in. It takes some time.
And I've actually said this, and Chris made fun of me on this show. I've said this about Chicharito, though, to back up to that point you made. He's a really good player. He's just nowhere near what they think he is. And so there are a bunch of people who shit on him because they think he's not up to that standard, but he's a really good player. You shouldn't have to. And we saw this like in football. We saw this with Brian Urlacher for a while. He's a very, very good player. But the hype gets so out of control on some of these guys that suddenly they suck compared to the standard that you want from them. But it is what it is. It doesn't change the fact that they're still really good, right?
And yeah, I when it's all said and done, do I expect him? Hi.
The wife's walking through.
Yeah, we see that. We can all see that.
It's election night. She had to work late.
I can't imagine why.
So
Illinois politics.
Yeah.
Did she vote early and vote often?
Oh yeah, several times.
All the dead people voted too. I'm guessing too.
When they need to, they do here.
I think that's true. But when one of the districts is running an actual Nazi, I mean, I get it. Jake and Elwood would be proud of it, but at the same time,
I think it's the district that represents Toyota Park, isn't it?
It would only be
into soccer. I think the Nazi is. I don't think he's going to win. I think he's probably already lost at this point. But yeah, we had a Nazi. We had a Nazi running here in the suburbs.
So I see Mike is still bullish on Pulisic, saying once Pulisic makes the jump to somebody like Liverpool or City or Madrid or something like that, he'll make another step forward. And we've talked about where we think he'd be best suited. I still feel if he went to somewhere like Madrid or City, he gets lost. But I would think Liverpool and or take a step up to the big to the A team. I mean, I get it. They're on Bayern's B team right now. So
those would be the two places I think he'd be best. Liverpool because of Klopp, and Bayern because, and I did see news this week that apparently he is one of their top targets with Ribery and Robin nearing the end of their run. I think they have to be done after this year. So they need wingers. He is one. He is already in the Bundesliga. He speaks German. They might love to have him, especially with what they're trying to do here in the United States from a marketing standpoint. So forget the soccer stuff for a minute. He'd be huge from them for a marketing standpoint. And then on top of that, he is a pretty good player too. So that would be, I think, a good move for him. Liverpool without Klopp suddenly is, I don't know, Chris and I wanted him nowhere near Arsenal with Wenger still in charge, but with Unai Emery there, the way they're playing,
not a bad. I
wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it anymore.
No, I agree. I would not hate it at this point either. About the only places like I said, Madrid, Barcelona, City, Man United. Those are places you go to get lost. But the other ones we were mentioning, like I said, it seems like everybody who goes to Bayern seems to play better when they go. Well, I shouldn't say all of them. But, most of them do. Good, so didn't obviously. Arsenal, another decent landing spot. Liverpool, the thing that we talk about over and over again, if you're going to make these moves up, you gotta play. If you get buried in the squad and you're barely making squad rotation, you are now.
I would rather have them playing in MLS than not playing at all somewhere. And I get that you're in training day to day, you're fighting. There is something to be said for that, but
ask Bill Hamid how that works out.
And I want to be clear, I don't want him playing in MLS.
No,
But I was illustrating a point. it's better to be playing than not playing at all.
Correct. I would rather him stay at Dortmund and playing 70, 75% of the time. You still rotate out because that team, that's what they do. But at the same time, then going to Bayern and maybe making the Pokal side, maybe, or going to Madrid and maybe playing Copa del Rey, maybe not. So that's what I don't want him buried. He needs to be out playing as high of a level as possible, as many minutes as possible.
Anonymity brings up a good point about the roster, and we kind of glazed over it earlier. There are 2 forwards listed. Sargent, who I have very high hopes for, and there goes the wife, and Bobby Wood, who I think we know what we have at this point, and I don't expect that to get any better. So
no, he's going to miss. He's just not going to score because it's Bobby Wood. He's got the shanks. But as you said, Tim Weah is more or less a third forward that can step in there.
It's just, I mean, I know Germany really doesn't have many forwards, and up until recently, at least, they were very good. So some countries can get away with it, but we're not one of those. We need some more forwards. It's
well, I saw Rooney got called in the England squad.
He did.
Maybe they're going to trade Rooney. Maybe Rooney, because he plays in DC now, he's going to use his one-time exemption and jump over in the second half or something like that.
Yeah, I saw Rooney here in the Chicago area week and a half ago, and now he's going to be playing at Wembley again, which a lot of the reaction out of England was exactly the same as Chris's feelings toward giving Clint Dempsey one more call up. It drives him nuts, and he doesn't want to see it. He thinks it's got to be earned, and he thinks if Dempsey were to be called in and score, he should have an asterisk on the scoring record.
However, the comma but that goes with that is, it's for England, it's a game against the United States. It's a friendly. If you ever talked about a massive cash grab, that's really all this is.
Yeah.
It is irrelevant to England.
And they've actually, to be fair, they've grabbed Chris's cash and they have not provided him with tickets.
Well, yeah,
they provided. Maybe they have, and they're lost somewhere.
Chris, and again, we're talking about Chris versus technology. If they went via email or any other way, if it's not a paper ticket in his hand, he's screwed. So, and Chris, when you're watching this, like I said, a couple weeks from now, yep, I'm going there just to see if I can have you smash another iPad, because I assume the one you're working at tonight is gone already.
So for next week, the game is Thursday. So I was hoping to do the show on Thursday of next week. The game's at like 2. I don't expect us to do a post-match show immediately after. We'll probably still do it the normal time at night. But I was hoping to have Chris involved in some way, with whether he records a video and sends it in or somehow. But I don't even know at this point if he's going to get into the stadium. So
can't he get there and just scalp a ticket?
I mean, yes, he could, and
that's what he will like.
It'll probably be a fake ticket.
Well, knowing Chris, yes.
England's got really serious rules on ticket scalping too. Like I think they're more strict with making sure IDs match or something like that. I remember this being an issue when I went to the Emirates a couple of years ago, that I had to go to a certain window and they had to check my ID. And if you like bought it on StubHub, where they gave you like a lot of people on StubHub in England will like let you use their season ticket card. And that's technically not legal, I guess, or it's very frowned upon. I think if you sell it over face, it's definitely illegal and you can lose your seat. So, he'll probably get roped into something like that, and then get thrown in jail in London, and we'll have to have Jack come and bail him out. So sorry, Jack, if you're watching this, you're probably going to have to help Chris out, because he's probably going to get arrested.
So now the question is, what's the over and under on the number of iPads Chris has the next time he's on the show?
Are we counting the one he's broken?
Sure, yeah, we'll count that one.
It would get. I don't know. Maybe if he's not going to buy it on eBay. I know that.
No, but if he gets a used one, I'm guessing I'll set the over under on 2, and I think I would take the over. Because again, we're talking about technology, and especially if he tries to log on while he's in England, it's just not going to go well.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be compelling, I think.
He's been there before, so that does work in his favor.
Yes, I've been there with him. To be fair, he was last there in 2005. So, when I went with him, and there wasn't as much technology around then to fail you.
I don't think it fails most people. It's
Fail him.
Yeah, him. So what else do we got going?
That's what I know. If you have any, is any ninth division team you have to talk about right now?
No, not particularly.
In your ninth division wrap up?
No, we can avoid the ninth division wrap up. If I ever get around to doing the pod, then we'll talk about on that.
Do we have a name for the pod?
We're close. I think it's going to be the Minivan Soccer Pod or something along those lines. But we're not there yet. It's just I keep thinking about it. I take notes, I get ready, and then I get overwhelmed with other stuff going on and just never get back to it. So it's not like I don't. I mean, I do have one or two things going on, believe it or not, other than being on this show. But so what?
Super Soccer Soldier Show?
Nah, because at that point we might as well call it the shit show and just run with it.
Well, I was just trying to get some extra S's in there just so it wasn't SS.
Well, there's that. But like I said, eventually,
Minivan Soccer. You're a man, TJ.
I've got a minivan, and I own that fact. Unlike you, I actually own the fact that I have a minivan.
I don't have a minivan.
Oh, exactly, because you're insecure and you need to have your big SUV and whatever. Now you probably drive like a Ford Corolla.
A Ford Corolla.
Toyota Corolla, Ford Escort. Take your pick. Same thing. So, Chris and I are home. Okay, didn't know that about Chris. Let's see. What Zlatan apparently has made some demands to stay with the LA Galaxy. I saw that today. And if you're the LA Galaxy, they didn't say what they were. They apparently fired Viangus, and then but Zlatan has said their demands. I'm guessing money is one of them, but I don't see him leaving LA. Thierry Henry in Monaco. You got any comments there?
I have not seen what he's done at all.
Sorry. They lost 4. They lost, I think, 4-0 to Bruges today, and Horvath. Ooh. Believe it or not.
Did they really?
4-0 against Horvath and Bruges.
Well, maybe he'll get Bob Bradley'd by December or so.
I think the only other result that kind of stands out to me, Inter 1-1 Barcelona against Barcelona, and then Belgrade 2-0 over Liverpool, who I guess just didn't care. Not really sure what happened there. Other than, did you see the video of the pregame of was like FU Liverpool or something like that?
I've heard this. I have not seen it. I made a note to look this up.
It is outstanding. If you can find it, it is outstanding. So it's definitely. So anonymity, if you want to rate my podcast once it gets up and going, absolutely. It's the only way you do it.
I think you two should do the show together.
Me and anonymity?
Yeah. We learn more about him then, what his real name is.
Hey,
who he is as a guy. I know he doesn't drive a minivan. And I think I remember him living in Florida.
Well, think of how many years PFT commenter kept himself secret before Barstool Sports finally outed his name, and you're going, who the hell is that? But yeah, so what else we got going on? I don't even know at this point.
That's it. So when will Chris be on the show next? I don't expect we would do a show until post-match of England.
Probably not.
If he does appear on that show, it probably would be, it's going to be the middle of the night for him by the time we do the show. So I'm going to guess that he's not going to be on live. And then
why not? He has nothing better to do.
It's true. My real name is Anonymity, bro. My parents are hippies. That's amazing. That dude's the funniest dude.
Yeah, we need a return of Leipzig.
Yeah, Leipzig was funny, but anonymity is the funniest commenter.
Well, yeah, there's that. Especially like one second he's like, "What the hell am I doing here?" And then the next second the show is not the same. And I don't know. I don't know. There's a whole lot. Haven't had a fight in years. Apparently, he's not married. Then you can't. If you haven't had a fight in years, you're definitely not married. That's for damn sure. So what? Soccer wise, Donna Shalala wins the house seat. She was on the U.S. Soccer Board. Do we have an update on Landon's race?
I just looked and I didn't see anything. If anybody knows, did we vote yes on E and no on G? California, San Diego specifically. I don't know the answer to that. I don't see it yet. So.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about U.S. or talking about Ninth Division, whatever. And NPSL Pro came out with their sides today, and the return of the New York Cosmos. They'll be playing with, I guess, the Milwaukee Torrent and Detroit City are going to make the jump to NPSL Pro. They're going to do a tournament. Miami FC, I think, is back. But it's like
Interesting.
And I think Chattanooga is in there as well.
I've said before, I'll say again, Chattanooga would be the only acceptable rebrand to a Euro-style name if they were to switch to Locomotive Chattanooga.
Absolutely. And I think El Paso actually did use Locomotive, didn't they?
They did, and they should not have that. That should be Chattanooga.
Yeah, I'm guessing with El Paso, there should be something about a wall or a fence or something like that, and that would have worked. Game on tonight, our Coke it's Guernsey. It was background something for tonight because I really just didn't feel like checking on the election or anything like that. So
you have their games available to just stream.
It's the most recent game they leave on. You can watch full playback until the next one. So,
how are they doing?
I think they lose this one 2-1. They're mid lower. They're in the relegation fight most years now.
Come on, Guernsey.
I think that it's like I said, it's like a team from Wheaton trying to make its way through up the ladder in England. It's no bigger.
Wheaton, that's a reference that'll play around the world with this show.
Anonymity. No, I'm not pirating the match. I actually pay for it, believe it or not. Sadly enough, I have, and I have for several years now.
And MLS playoffs. I was sad to see Rooney go.
I was too, I guess.
And I kind of wanted closure to the coaching search, so I was cheering for DC United for those reasons. But that didn't happen. The Timbers, my Timbers for the time being.
Depending on who you're talking to. Let's see. That's Thursday. We've got
He's just gonna pull it up.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to tell you about our social media while TJ pulls it up. We have Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. They are all USfanTV. And although Chris has problems with technology, apparently he could paint because there is there's like a Dia de los Muertos USfanTV painting he did, and he put it on. He put it on all of our channels, I believe. It's
not bad.
Good. Yeah, it's good. It's just odd.
Why are they doing leg 2 Thursday night with Portland and Seattle and the rest of them on Sunday? That makes no sense to me.
Because it's in Seattle, and I'm guessing
then the Seahawks game, yeah.
I don't know that for sure, but I'm just guessing.
So we got the Timbers up 2-1 on aggregate there. Your thoughts? You were just out there.
I can confirm that they have lots of trees.
So who do you pick? Who do you got in that game?
I'm going to say the Timbers advance because it's a draw.
All right.
It's a draw in Seattle and the Timbers advance.
We've got Sporting at home against Real Salt Lake. They're at 1-1 on aggregate after the first leg.
Don't care.
Okay. Atlanta United trail up 1-0 on NYCFC. This leg is in Atlanta.
Atlanta's going to advance.
Yep. I agree. And this is the one that's probably going to be the best game of all of them, I think. Red Bull hosting Columbus. Columbus up 1-0 on aggregate.
Fun, yeah. Columbus moves on. We have to wait longer for our head coach.
Just to spite us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can't argue that either. So,
what are your final words?
Chris, I feel bad for your iPad. Chris's iPad, we will say prayers.
Probably, I'm guessing it's no longer with us.
Thoughts and prayers for Chris's iPad. That's my thoughts for the night. And what is it? Yes on C, no on Q?
Something like that.
All right. And you're done. I got nothing more.
All right. Till next time.
See ya.